What's up, my friend? Welcome to another video. But if we haven't met yet, my name is Ted and I talk bass. This is a Tip Tuesday, and I think I'm gonna just start doing this, man, just to do it. But I was thinking today about my career as a musician, and when I say a musician, I mean a bass player, a producer, an artist, a teacher, right? Thinking about this whole thing and thinking about like the some of the people that I've run across in this space, right? And before I even get into all of that, look, man, this video is being brought to you by me. That means if you want to support the channel, you can join, you can become a member of the channel, you could buy a product, you could send a tip via CashApp or any of those other links that are down in the description box or the one that's somewhere on the screen. Anyway, I was thinking about the sizes of the egos that I see on a lot of musicians. Man, I'm thinking about Kevin Samuels right now. Google him. Anyway, did I get myself in hot water? Anyway, I'm just playing around. But nah, for real. There are different levels to this whole thing. And there's nothing wrong with being on the level of you're the guy or girl who plays at church on Sundays, and that's it. You know, one of the things about COVID was that it was the great equalizer. Everybody, from the largest to the smallest, everybody was out of a gig. Nobody gigging, no touring, none of that stuff, right? And if you do the Instagram thing and all that, all those things are cool, right? But we are not curing cancer. We are playing music. And sure, music, music makes people happy, and it does a lot of things for a lot of people, right? But I know I don't romanticize what I'm doing. I'm not saving the world here, right? I'm not saving the world with any of these YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos because bass is what I've done most of my life. It's what I like to talk about, and there are so many of you that have subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so, go on and hit the subscribe link. And so I just talk about what I like, right? And I've played on several different levels. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a superstar, but I wanted to be, I was a kid. It was the 80s. Everybody played an instrument, and I wanted to be a superstar. As you go through this whole thing, you realize, like, a small sliver, a small number of people make it to that level. Even being the bass player for a superstar, that's the person that's making the money. As I got older, I started thinking, I will have made it if I could sustain a living on music, on the arts, right? When you're for a certain age, that it's just being a bass player, and then it becomes being a bass player and an educator, then it'd be a bass player and a content creator, all these different things, right? So I've even added consultant to some areas, right? I say all that to say, like, on these different levels, I don't have any notes or anything like that. This is just stuff that I was thinking about today. We want to get up these rungs, but then we want to carry the attitude and the swag of someone who has got, who's, making $1 million playing bass, right? We walk around with that kind of, I'm going to call it arrogance, because it isn't confidence. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance, right? But we won't do, like, the normal stuff that keeps people in those types of gigs, right? I don't know, simple shit like showing up on time, knowing the music, being somebody that somebody wants to be around. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. I can think about a lot of different situations. One thing I will tell you is that the bass players that I know that play with the biggest name artists are some of the most humble cats you've ever met in your life. And yeah, they can play and they can do all the stuff, but I guarantee you that they're so disciplined that they will learn the music as it goes. They aren't late for the bus. They aren't late to lobby call. They aren't, you know what I'm saying? They are professionals. But then there'll be, the other person who's just like a local guy or girl and has like, all the attitude and swag in the world, but if you call them for a gig, you don't know if they're going to show up or if they're going to know the tunes or if they're just going to bullshit their way through the tunes, right? So I think we got to keep these things in perspective. If you have a gig, right? There's some gigs you have and they're just for the money, right? Like if you have in a market like New Orleans, or if you're with a top 40 band or something like that, you're gonna play the same tunes over and over and over and over again. You're not there for the creative outlet. You're there to play those songs, and 9 out of 10 times, if you're playing with any top 40 band that's worth their salt, you're gonna be making money at the end of the night. So that becomes a gig for, primarily for money, right? But you never know who you're gonna meet on the gig. Who's gonna be, subbing for somebody? You never know, right? Who's gonna see you on stage or, hanging out or anything like that. A couple years ago, I wrote a book called The Blue Collar Basis. And I'm just telling you, this is some of the stuff that's in the book. It's just like being a professional, but you have to like look at the small gig too as being important, right? Like, I know I invoked the name of Kevin Samuels earlier today, and I don't want anybody to get all controversial. Kevin can be a little bit controversial, but it's sort of just like the stuff that he talks about sometimes, where it's like, you want this, but you aren't qualified to get that, right? So some of us want these superstar gigs and have this superstar status, but we don't want to do the work. We just want to have the status, and we want to have the all the accolades that go along with that. It doesn't work like that, right? Another thing to remember, and I don't say this, I don't mean to like get on anybody and be on a high horse, right? But like, seasons come and go. Seasons do come and go. I think about gigs that I had that lasted for years, whether they be church gigs or gigs with an artist, or and I've got fond memories of those gigs. Still have relationships that were built from those gigs, but I don't have the gig anymore, right? So that is something else to keep in mind. When you're on the gig, you have to look. Check it out. Let's look at it like we're working fast food, right? Let's say your first job is working at a fast food restaurant, and you make some ridiculous minimum wage an hour, right? Well, one of the things that I don't think we're teaching kids a lot, and I'm just gonna say it, is that it's not about the job. It's not about it's not about the income necessarily, especially if you're young and you're working that kind of job or whatever. It's about the stuff that you learn on the job, right? It's about the knowledge. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they say, work for the experience, not for the money. A lot of gigs are like that, okay? So you gotta, and I know I'm preaching, this video is long, and some of you have checked out already, but if you haven't checked out already, get the experience. Sometimes you gotta shut up and just play, be cool, observe, look at how things, because somebody's always watching you, right? Another thing is, I made a video a while ago, maybe a month or so ago, about the stigma of having a day job. Let me tell you something. If you got a day job, the pressure of you having to make all your money on gigs is going to be so much less. And you can take that money and invest it in a different way, right? Invest in gear, invest in clothes, whatever, right? Invest in your own project, right? That may be the season for that gig, and that may be just what you're doing just to get the bread to do that thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess because this video is unscripted and I just want to kind of speak from the heart, is that number one, we gotta do away with these egos. I don't do egos anymore. I don't think I ever really did, but now I just don't. I just don't. I know so many people and have played with so many people, and have played with people who have played with people. I know people who have played. If they go through their photo album, they could show you like some major artists that they've played with. But that major artist has got a nice house and, you know, stocks and this and that and the other, and that person is broke. You feel me? Or, you know, like, so it just doesn't matter. And I know other people who have done those same types of things, and they don't brag. They just do, right? There's a difference between like being and doing. They just do. So there's that. Play for the experience. Play for the experience. Don't necessarily think about the money. There is a time, you know, we talk about this $100 gig and blah, 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 blah. You know what? It's music, man. And that's how this game works. Sometimes you got to work up to the point where you can say, I ain't playing for $100. I ain't playing for $200 or whatever. It's about relationships and people, and it's a chess game. One thing leads to another thing, right? And also, you know, don't just blow your money. Have you a source of steady income where you know that money is coming in all the time, or, you know, regularly. Then take your gig money and do something different with it, right? That's something I wish I would have learned and done early on in the game, right? But if you're spending so much time trying to use your gig money to live, right, and you haven't made it to a certain level, it's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt, right? And COVID showed us that in 2020, that, you know, it could all come crashing down literally at any moment. So I know this has been a long-winded video, but I'm gonna continue to do this because, damn it, it's my channel. And if you've made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Again, if you want to support the channel, you could hit that subscribe button, the link. See, I messed up. You could hit the subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment. If you don't like it, you could hit the thumbs down button. I don't care. I got tough skin. And you can support by joining the channel and buying a product or something like that. All that good stuff. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. And so if there's a topic that you think I should talk about, something that you're curious about, something that you think that I may be able to answer, or address after 25 years of being a professional musician, by all means, let me know. And if I can, I will. All right. So I will catch you in the next video. Peace. 2 fingers.